Hello everyone, this is Color Water Studio. My name is Olga Snach and I'm an artist. In this video, I would like to tell you which information paints manufacturers put on their labels, how to read these labels, and how we can use this information in our future work with watercolor. So let's dive deeper into the world of watercolor labels. Yes, it is tiny pieces of information that you can find on your tubes or your pens, and that can be just a key to unlocking your better painting results. We are going to break down all the details from color name to lightfastness, so prepare your magnifying glass and let's decode this together. First of all, not all paints are created equal. If your paint's label show just basic info like color name, there is a chance that they are not professional grade. Some paints don't come with any labels at all, and we can assume that they are not very high quality. There are some exceptions though. The fact that some labels are missing some information can make it tricky to compare paints, and especially between brands, since each company has its own system. Don't worry, we'll walk through the key differences today, but first let's take a look at the label of this paint. One of the first things we notice is the paint's name. Some names are super simple, red, blue, yellow, so you get the idea. But things get interesting when you see names like cadmium red or quinacridone crimson. These names don't just sound fancy, they tell you a lot about what's inside. Cadmium, for example, is a heavy metal that makes reds, yellows, and oranges super vibrant, while quinacridone is a modern pigment that intensifies the reds, yellows, and even browns. So understanding these names helps you to know what to expect from your colors. Also, this is a good idea to check actual swatch charts at art supply store to see the actual color, cause it happens that color swatch on the paint label often doesn't match what the paint actually looks like. Right next to the color name, you might notice something called a series number or letter. This is a way for companies to categorize paints by price. A lower series means cheaper paint, while higher series usually means rare or costly pigments. But just because a paint is expensive doesn't always mean it's better. Some pigments are rarer than others, so it's more expensive to make such a paint. You can usually find cheaper substitutes for more expensive colors, so it is a good idea to buy an expensive paint if you really need that specific color, that exact shade. Also, close to the series information, sometimes we can find the permanence info, a marking indicating how durable or lasting a paint is over time. Now let's dig a little deeper into pigment information. If you see just one pigment listed, you've got yourself a single pigment paint, which is great for mixing. They are bright, they are clear, and they are less likely to muddy when combined with other colors. If you see more than one pigment listed, you've got a convenience color. It's pre-mixed to save you time, perfect for when you don't want to mix the same shade over and over. But if you are feeling adventurous, you can mix these colors yourself with single pigment paints. Now let's talk about lightfastness. This is how resistant a paint is to fading when exposed to light. Most brands will use a star rating or letter system to show how light fast a paint is. If you are working on a piece you want to last for years, pay attention to this rating. But for practice or sketchbook work, you don't need to worry too much. Next up is opacity, or how transparent your paint is. Most watercolors are meant to be transparent, but some colors, especially blacks and whites, can be more opaque. Brands use different symbols to show this, like filled or blank squares, so be sure to check. And let's not forget about staining. It's a less commonly used symbol compared to the one for opacity, but it often follows a similar design, where a shape is either filled or left empty, indicating how staining the pigment is. This tells you how much a color will stick to the paper, making it hard to lift off. If you use lifting techniques often, this is something to watch out for. The staining symbol may sometimes appear as a simple ST mark on the paint. Another commonly used letter is G, which indicates whether the paint is granulating. The label may also provide information about the vehicle. If gum arabic is listed, it's a good indication that the paint is of a decent quality. Cheaper, non-professional paints often use alternative binders. In addition to the above parameters, the label also may contain the information about the address of the manufacturer, brand name and logotype, certification, barcode, tube and pen volume, and also recycling information. Let's summarize. Based on the information we've covered in this video, I've put together a list of the most important parameters to consider when choosing your watercolors from my perspective. First, name of the paint, brand and color preview. Keep in mind the color preview on the watercolor labels can be different from the actual color of the paint, so don't forget to check the swatches at your art supply store. Second, series indicates how pricey your paint is. Next, transparency and opacity, how transparent your paint is. Fifth point in this list is the name of the pigment. Sixth, staining rating. And the last parameter indicates staining or granulating. And there you have it. Watercolor labels are packed with useful information. Once you understand how to read them, you will be able to make smarter decisions about your paints, whether you want to have just perfect single pigment color to mix, or you just want to know if your paint will fade over time. Understanding these labels is a game changer. And if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more tips and tutorials. And as always, I wish you to create and love yourself in your creativity. This is Color of Water Studio. My name is Olga Osnach, and I'll see you in the next video.